So that's a good question people you asked. And japa, yeah, japa session we can think what we can do. I'm happy to get it done, but yeah. So I was since the time I read that news, it happened yesterday, yeah. The news happened yesterday. Yeah. Since the time I read the news yesterday about the tragic accident, I was thinking a lot, and it was a very disturbing thing. Even though we understand the rules and so many things, but still when we hear and when we see so many lives have changed for permanently, yeah. So yeah, because this is the discussion happening in my house, and I'm sure in your house and everybody around, of how this happened, why this happened, and so many videos coming up, charred bodies, fully black bodies, and the head cut, this, that, so many people sent to me everything.
One was saved.
Yeah, one survival also, that is true. It's one survival. So when we so today's class will be related to that thing only, what we are facing and how do we learn, what do we learn from these things, especially when things are happening at such a huge scale. And people may question, how can a big company like Air India with a Dreamline, a Boeing Dreamliner, how can it just... I know. So yeah, I am coming to that. So how did the aircraft first of all can happen to that, you know? Okay, how is that something such a huge machine suddenly goes down this way in 30 seconds or less after the flight, and everybody does that, you know? So it's a thing. In Mahabharata also this happened. After the war, almost everybody was killed in Mahabharata also. And when Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, they were mourning, dukh में थे कि उनके सारे बच्चे गए. And at that time, Srila Vyasadeva was there, Bhagwan Krishna, Vidur, Sanjay, they all were there to offer condolences to them. And Gandhari, the mother of the Kauravas, she was lamenting a lot. Lamenting in spite of knowing that the Kauravas were in the wrong attitude or wrong place in the first place, you know. Kauravas had a wrong intention. In spite of that, she was mourning कि फिर भी मेरे बच्चे क्यों मरे, है ना? So that is a very natural thing, and as a mother, she could not restrain her sorrow, and that is why sometimes in our Vedic Shastra there is a 13-day mourning period. When जब ये मृत्यु होती है तो 13 दिन का शोक होता है, घर वालों को वो टाइम देते हैं. And obviously read the Garud Puran, there are other reasons also why we do the 13 days, because the Atma also goes away on the 13th day and things like that. Similar, if I was to think similarly on the lines of Gandhari, then after the war, even Draupadi was in mourning. Why? Draupadi's sons were also killed, na? Draupadi के बच्चे को भी तो मारा था, है ना? But Draupadi's sorrow was a bit different as compared to Gandhari's sorrow. Draupadi's son did not make any mistake or anything. They were on the virtuous path, yet they were killed. So this happened with Draupadi too. So yes, and so that is where Vaishnavas are empathetic. It is important for us to be empathetic, and we should pray in such times. We should pray to Lord Hari, Lord Krishna in some times, that may he grant the strength and emotional stability at this point in time for all the affected families. And we will now link it to the Shastras, Bhagavad Gita scriptures, little bit of what has happened and what do our Shastras say about it, right? So I was preparing the slide here, and this is SB stands for Srimad Bhagavatam. The 10 stands for Canto number 10. Canto is a big volume, so Canto 10. There are around 12 books, so this is the 10th book. Canto 10, chapter 14 and verse number 58. So the focus is primarily on the last line. Padam padam yat vipadam na tesham. The focus is on the last line. Padam padam yat vipadam na tesham. And so the question was like, why do these kinds of things happen in this material world? And our shastras, in our shastra there are various places, and I have chosen this one just for today. So I would like somebody to to read the translation. Can you go to Preksha? Can I please ask you to read this? Yes.
For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Muradinam, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Their goal is Param Padam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step.
Thank you. Very nicely read. Very sweet voice. Thank you. So here we hear Srila Prabhupada giving translation that this material world, there is danger at every single step that we take. Every single step. All the Shastras say it in various ways. Even in Bhagavad Gita we hear it's Dukkhalayam and Ashashvatam. But at the same time, if we see the first few lines, for those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. So we are all doing a journey of this life, and in this journey we have different vehicles, for example. But if, let's say in our vehicle we have chosen the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is known as Murari. Murari is none other than Lord Krishna. He is named as Krishna because he is named as Murari because he killed the Mura demon. Hence he is called Murari. So then they say, if we have taken the shelter of Krishna, then the dangers in this world are like a hoof of a calf print. Calf मतलब बछड़ा, गाय का बछड़ा. गाय का बछड़ा के पैर कैसे रहते? छोटे रहते. अगर उसका फुटप्रिंट है तो कितना होगा? इतना छोटा होगा, है ना? And that footprint will have a little bit of gadda in it, and whatever water can collect in that gadda. So here Shukdev Goswami is telling that the material world, the ocean of the material is like water contained in the calf's hoof print. आराम से हम उससे पार कर लेंगे easily. But who? One who have taken shelter of the Lord. भगवान का शरण जिसने लिया है वही आराम से कर सकता है ऐसे. अदरवाइज दे से द गोल इज परम पदम वैकुंठ, द प्लेस वेयर देयर इज नो मटेरियल मिजरीज. वैकुंठ, कुंठ मीन्स एंजाइटी, vai means a negation, so Vaikuntha is a place where there is no anxiety, no dangers like this. So our aim is to go to the spiritual world, and Vaikuntha is one of the topmost planets of the spiritual world. So the Lord explains there is danger at every step, but if we take the shelter of Lord Murari, then no danger for us. The danger is minimized. We get the ability to do this. So that was from Canto 10. Let's see another one. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.16.7. So let us, I'm thinking let's recite this together. It's bit, so in my mind I first recited. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse number 7. Shudram Naranam Anga Martyanam Ritam Ichhatam Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Mrityu Samitra Karmani. So we will now read the translation. Peksha, can I please request you to read the translation again?
O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death.
Very good, thank you. O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death. Slaughtering process मतलब क्या? Yeah, we all know slaughtering process. Unfortunately, what happened yesterday was no less than a slaughtering process. But here the scriptures say that those who desire from this kind of freedom from birth and death, then they escape by calling the controller of death or Yama. And so when we read the purport, when we read the then we can understand what it means. So let's quickly do that. That way we will understand, because this is just not enough. So I'm just going to open Veda base and I will get you there. Library. And what was the verse number? Who remembers it? Okay. Windows P, duplicate. So we are in Veda base and Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse number 7. So we will read the purport. Mataji, can you give it to him? Can I request you to read the purport? Yes.
The living entity, as it develops from lower animal life to a higher human being and gradually to higher intelligence, becomes anxious to get free from the clutches of death. Modern scientists try to avoid death by psychochemical advancement of knowledge, but alas, the controller of death, Yamaraja, is so cruel that he does not spare even the very life of the scientist himself. The scientist who puts forward the theory of stopping death by advancement of scientific knowledge becomes himself a victim of death when he is called by Yamaraja. What to speak of stopping death? No one can enhance the short period of life even by a fraction of a moment.
Yeah, can we take a pause? Yeah, Haribol. Thank you. So, what do we understand here from what we have read? The first line itself is very, very powerful. The living entity, as it develops from lower animal life to a higher human being and gradually to a higher intelligence, becomes anxious to get free from clutches of death. Srila Prabhupada, when he is writing a sentence, look at the composition of the sentence. It's first of all a huge sentence, but he has included everything. जन्म मृत्यु का पूरा चक्कर समझा दिया इसके अंदर. All 84 lakh species are covered in these 2 lines. What a very powerful and realized soul, Srila Prabhupada. Living entity, as it develops from lower animal life to a higher human being. What does that mean? Which means we all have been going in the Chorasila Kyoni. At once upon a time, we have been into the reptiles category, and then the bird category, and then the tree category, and then eventually both land and amphibians, both land and water, and now we are in the humans. And when we are in the humans, there also it is saying higher human being, and then within humans getting a higher intelligence. What is the higher intelligence in human beings? What kind of questions do a higher intelligent human being asks? He will ask, why am I here? Who am I? Who is God? Why am I suffering? Why do bad things happen to good people? So many good people crashed, went to death, they were burnt, black body. Everybody was literally burnt. When it is 1.5 lakh liters of petrol, 30 seconds, everybody was burnt. What did they do? Why did such a thing happen to this? Is God cruel? So people will ask this way. So what is the intelligence? A human being with a higher intelligence, which you are all here, will ask, who is God? Who am I? Why do bad things happen to good people? What is life after death? Life after death for me, if it is, what life will I get? Will I always get a female body? Will I always get a male body? Will I always get a birth in Australia, in Melbourne? Or will I always get, can I also be degraded to some other body? So these questions we should come for a human being with a higher intelligence. And when these questions comes, then he says, becomes anxious to get free from the clutches of death. Then that person will say, okay, how do I get out of this cycle of birth and death? And then he will take actions. So Srila Prabhupada is criticizing the scientists here. Time pass kar rahe. They are trying to make advancement of knowledge, but the same scientist, he dies. So he is not against the scientist, but he is against the entire effort and the mentality that what is, when a scientist does something, and if he is not into a spiritual category, then he feels that, he or she feels that everything is science. There is nothing called as a higher authority. A chemical reaction and a body is formed, and when certain chemicals go up and down in the body, then the body becomes diseased, and hence they will inject you with certain medicines to increase that particular chemical in the hope that your body will be cured. So that is what Prabhupada is against. Okay. So it is said Yamaraj is so cruel that he does not spare even the very life of the scientist himself. The scientist one day dies. Yes, Prabhuji, can you please continue and let's finish this para. The scientist
who puts forward the theory of stopping death by advancement of scientific knowledge becomes himself a victim of death when he is called by Yamaraja. What to speak of stopping death? No one can enhance the short period of life even by a fraction of a moment. The only hope of suspending the cruel slaughtering process of Yamaraja is to call him to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord. Yamaraja is a great devotee of the Lord, and he likes to be invited to kirtans and sacrifices by the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, the great sages, headed by Saunaka and others, invited Yamaraja to attend the sacrifice performed at Naimisranya. This was good for those who did not want to die.
Thank you, Ravi. Very nicely read. Yes. So when we see a S with a dot on it, that is, it is Sha. Yes, Sha. Shaunaka. Okay. So nice. And Naimi. So this S again with a dot. Naimisharan. Again is Sha. Naimisaranya. Naimisharanya. Okay. So all right. So so what are we saying again? So here we are saying that Yamaraj was called on to that where they were performing the sacrifice, and Yamaraj was also invited to attend the sacrifice. So that is what it means here, that intelligent people who are devoted to the Lord, they escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamaraj, but for attending Harinam ceremony. So that Yamaraj comes, he is okay, he is a personal favorite of the Lord. ये हरिनाम चैंट कर रहा है, इसके गले में भगवान का टैग है. क्या टैग है? गले में कंठी माला है, तुलसी माला है, हाथ में जप माला है, भगवान का खास आदमी है, इसको हम टच नहीं करेंगे, आगे बढ़ेंगे. ठीक है. So that is what this particular thing means. So yes, when we see these kinds of things happening in our life, it's the time to contemplate, to take shelter of the Shastras. As Vaishnavas, our education is different. Vaishnavas are paradukha dukhi. Hence there is this song, na? Vaishnava jana to तेने कहिए पीड़ पराई. पीड़ पराई मतलब किसी और की पीड़ा, पराई की पीड़ा उसको खुद अपने पे बीत रही है ऐसा लग रहा है ना. दैट इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ अ वैष्णवा. And when we have subscribed to this philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, when we are chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then that quality will automatically develop under us. We will feel the pida that 240 plus people in the flight and 40-50 people in that building of the medical facility, everybody has died. Right? The 40-50 people inside the building, उनको तो पता ही नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं किया उन्होंने तो. They did not subscribe to any newsletter कि इधर आना चाहिए plane. They were just doing their own thing. And they did not even know, I'm sure they did not even realize कि अभी cut करके gone. And even these 240 people, that 30 seconds of trauma must have been hell. But after those 30 seconds, I doubt if anybody must have realized anything, because the flame, when it comes, 1.5 lakh liters of petrol, you can't fathom. And out of this, all this thing, what happens? Will this work or not?
इस पूरे विमान के हादसे में जहाँ सब कुछ क्षतिग्रस्त हो गया है, यहाँ पर ये भगवत गीता आपको सही हालत में, यहाँ पर आपने अभी यहाँ पे पैसेंजर का रहा होगा, मे भी हो सकता है, वो तो हम नहीं बता सकते.
आवाज कहाँ से आया? So you have all seen this video. Have you seen this or not? Okay, you have all seen. So I am not worrying about this. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is still there. It is saved. You know, sometimes when we see, oh wow. Eh? Yeah, some devotee must be there in the thing, and then I was reading this there. So there is a contemplation that maybe that devotee has gone back home, back to Godhead. If he has Bhagavad Gita in his hand, and if he remembers the Lord at the last minute, then definitely he will go back to God. All right, let's move on. Okay, so one of the Mataji, she shared this here. So one lady, she missed her flight by 10 minutes. She is so happy. Yeah, she is there. So it was a miraculous escape for her. And then, so there are these two verses we will quickly see, 4.17 and 4.16 in the Bhagavad Gita. I will again share Windows P, duplicate. So we'll let the Srimad Bhagavatam be here, and that is how we go to the library. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Sorry, what was the thing? 4.16 and 4.17. So we'll quickly read 4.16. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavyopi atra mohitaha tattatte karma pravakshyami yajñatva moksha yesha subhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So now Krishna here in this particular verse is talking about karma philosophy to Arjun, and then he is saying what is correct action, what is inaction, and he is saying even the intelligent are bewildered when karma attacks, when this kind of things happen. Even everybody is bewildered. ऐसा क्यों हुआ, ऐसा क्या किया उन लोगों ने, है ना? So it is very difficult, and that is what our Shastras also tell us, what is action, what is inaction, and this is Krishna is saying. So karmas are of three types. Just a revision for all of you. We have done this earlier. A karma is action, right? Action which gives a equal reaction in basic terms. That is the basic definition of karma. Karma of three types. One is karma, second is vikarma, and third is akarma. Karma means action which subscribes to the rules given in the scriptures. Action subscribing to the rules given in the scriptures. Vikarma, I don't know why this is whatever is happening. Vikarma, so vikarma is action which is against the scriptures. And then akarma, who can tell what is akarma? अकर्मा क्या होता है? Yes. Akarma is the same action that is kind of the karma action which is based on the scriptures, but with the consciousness that you don't want the fruit, you have got nothing to do with the fruit of the action. You are basically dedicating that action to the Lord. You are basically doing that action for the pleasure of the Lord. So that means we don't get a good karma and we don't get a bad karma. And when we don't have this, so if we get a good karma, then we will get a positive points in your balance sheet at the end of that final, at the end of your life. You will have a positive balance and then you will have a negative debit, credit. And then you have to balance it out. If it is zero, then you can close your file. Nobody will give any problem. You can easily close because everything is zero. No balance and no debt. So we want to do a karma. Okay, so 4.16 and let's go to 4.17. So let us recite this. I will recite and then you can recite after me. Karmano hi api bodhyavyam bodhyavyam ca vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Okay. So here we can see again Srila Prabhupada tells about explains this thing. So why we recited this verse, why we came to this verse? Because so many bad things have happened here, and then we can't understand karma. We can only speculate. ऐसा क्यों हुआ इन लोगों के? But when we go to the things given in the scriptures, then we can understand what has happened. Okay. So from current slide, we will move on. So like there are two types of danger. What is the danger for every human? क्या सबसे खतरनाक चीज क्या है? What is the danger? अभी जो हुआ बोइंग का क्या डेंजर है? मृत्यु कभी भी आ सकते हैं ना. वन कैन डाई एनी टाइम. दैट इज द बिगेस्ट डेंजर, राइट? द फर्स्ट टाइम डेथ कैन हैपन एनी टाइम. नोबडी नोज ना. No, we don't know whether we are going to go home safe and sound today. Na? No, there is no guarantee, right? We can think, yeah, we will go, but we don't know whether it will actually happen or not. And what is the second danger? The second danger?
After death can be done.
Yes. Yes, you are almost there. Yes.
What will happen after death?
What will happen after death? Yes, you are also close to that.
What about the family? I think we will be thinking about the family. What will happen to my family?
Yeah, but I'm after the danger पूछ रहा हूँ मैं. danger. हाँ, मतलब कि एक तो मरेंगे तो obviously people around you will be affected. That's taken for granted. Okay, we don't have to list it separately. Next birth will be more. Yes, correct. I mean, you all three are on the right one. Let me just list this here. The second one is that we have died without achieving the ultimate goal of our human life. Death is not a problem. So out of these two dangers, which is the higher danger? Which is the when I have to give extra points for this, like second one, na? Everybody has to die. The fact that you have taken birth means you have to die, na? Finish, right? The fact that we have taken birth means everybody has to die. But what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is not dying. The biggest problem is after getting birth, if we die without realizing and utilizing the importance of human birth, then that is a problem. Because then we have just died like cats and dogs. That is the problem. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मनुष्य जन्म पाया ना भजिया राधा कृष्ण. मनुष्य जन्म मिला बट कुछ काम नहीं किया स्पिरिचुअलिटी में. ऐसे ही उड़ गए हटाक. जैसे 240 लोग गए. ऑफ कोर्स वी कांट जनरलाइज, मे बी देयर वर डिवोटीज इन इट, वी डोंट नो. ओके, so that is the biggest problem. So sometimes when we ask, अरे भगवान निर्दयी है, ऐसा है, God is so cruel, we can't do that, because the fact that we have taken a human birth, which means we have not read the manual. When you buy a sophisticated car, then you will read the manual of how to operate all the display buttons on the car. You will read the manual to ensure that you get the most out of that car, to find out all the facilities that you have in the car. Similarly, after getting this human birth, the most sophisticated creation of Brahma out of the 84 lakh species of life, we are not reading the manual of Bhagavad, and we are doing everything else. And then we call ourselves intelligent people and so-called successful people. Success is equal to a great job, is equal to a good salary, is equal to a good Friday night out, is equal to having a good car, is equal to having a good house, is equal to having invested in a investment property, is equal to having a farmhouse. That is a material success in today's world. But when this kind of a plain danger happens, life is mrityu harashchi. Life is taken away from the body without even giving a moment's notice. In this particular case, notice ही नहीं मिला. Actually, many times people get notice. Especially people who are suffering from cancer, they will know. Okay, doctor will tell 1 month. At least they know. Here 30 seconds में क्या पता ही नहीं चला ना क्या हो गया. So not everyone will get notice. At least then during that period when people have been told कि 1 month है cancer हो गया, last stage you have one. During that 1 month they can make some corrective actions. Something can be done. But in this particular case, when situation like this happens, nothing can be done. Hence, we must take every day seriously. Every day is a test for us. Every day we must get up and do what we have to do, which is taking the shelter of the Lord, getting up early in Brahma Muhurat, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Many of you are already doing. I want everybody to do it. These kinds of things are important for us. These kinds of things are catalyst. Who knows what a catalyst is? Chemical engineers. When we make some experiment, catalyst is to speed up the reaction. But the reaction is actually between chemical A and chemical B. Catalyst तो सिर्फ उसको push करने का काम करता है ना? These kinds of reactions should be like a catalyst in our life. We need to speed up. We need to speed up our bhakti process. We need to speed up and we need to become more serious about our dedication towards this entire thing. As humans, as highly intelligent human beings, so called, we are all very, very learned here. All people are learned here. But if you don't do the best thing that a human life requires, then we have a problem. And so what is our major time spent in? Activities in this material world is given by Pa Varga. So those who have learnt in Pa Varga. जैसे क वर्ग होता है क ख ग घ म, तो य वर्ग होता है य र ल व श, ऐसे. तो प वर्ग है. प वर्ग इज प फ ब भ म. For those who have learnt in India, प फ ब भ म. प for P for parishram. Parishram means hard work. That's what I'm talking about, the activities of humans, including us. किसमें हमारा टाइम 24 घंटा किसमें जाता है? प वर्ग, परिश्रम, बहुत हार्ड वर्क. एवरी सिंगल पर्सन हियर इज वर्किंग हार्ड. आई डोंट नो ऑफ एनीबडी हु इज ऐसा ही सुबह आराम से बैठे है, कुछ काम नहीं है. I don't think anybody of you subscribes to that. Every single person that I see, everybody is working hard. प वर्ग. प के बाद फ आता है. फ मीन्स फेम, फोमिंग. जब भी वो गधा बहुत ज़्यादा काम करता है ना, तो क्या आता है, वो झाग आता है उसके मुंह पे. Actually, it is the fame, it is the foam. When a dog or when a donkey or a horse, especially the horse, Derby horse, if you make him run, then after a while there is a jhag here. So what it says, what the Shastra says, कि human beings work so hard, indirectly, like so much like a gada, that they actually start foaming at the mouth. In today's world, the foaming is more mentally, because once many people have a white collar job, so they are in IT and so-called the IT field, and then there are so many things to do. So mentally they are fatigued. So pa for parishram, fa for foaming, fame बोलते हैं इसको हम. तो pa for ba is more of a frustration. Ba for व्यर्थता. After doing this hard work, we get frustration in life कि जो जैसा चाहिए था वैसे इफेक्ट नहीं मिला, है ना. I worked so hard for the project, but all the credit went to the manager. मुझे किसी ने देखा भी नहीं. He is going to get the appraisal, he is going to get the promotion. I am just going to stick wherever I am. Frustration. So frustration is there in this material. Pa for ba, then bha. Bha means bhiti, bhaya, fearfulness. Fearfulness of what? किसका भय? Fearfulness of losing what we have. ये सबसे बड़ा भय है ना. Fearfulness of losing what we have, and that could be losing the money, or losing the health for people who are health conscious, for losing near and dear ones, like what happened at Ahmedabad, losing family members. और क्या losing का example है? Money हो गया, health हो गया, near and dear ones हो गया, और क्या? Losing इज्जत, the pride that we have, the pride that we have. If somebody insults us, that also is fearful for many. Different people have different kinds of fear. This material world is designed to be fearful. Sometimes people say, पंछी बनो उड़ती फिरूं मस्त गगन में. गाना था ना वो, बढ़िया सा गाना था, उसके ऊपर डांडिया खेलते थे. अपना श्वेता माता जी नहीं है नीलर. वो पंछी को देखा है क्या कभी? कभी झाड़ पे देखना पंछी को. वो पंछी एक सेकंड के लिए भी आराम नहीं करता है. वो ऐसे ऐसे देखते रहता है. ऊपर से कोई बड़ा पंछी आके झड़प तो नहीं लेगा मुझे. कंटिन्यूस ऐसे. दैट बर्ड फॉर 1 second it can't stabilize itself. So we have a backyard. In backyard my wife keeps a water pot for the birds. So one of the maina comes, Indian maina, and she comes here. She has to drink water, but before drinking the water 5-10 times ऊपर नीचे फट से एक सिप ले लिया, फिर से ऊपर नीचे. इनको हमको पंछी बनना है. भय, भीति, fearfulness, and fearfulness of death, man. Fear. That is the biggest fear. Fearfulness of death. I have my father-in-law, and the temple is 100 meters across my house. Radha Ashtami, big festivals. I said, पापा चलो दर्शन लेते हैं. तो नहीं, क्यों? बोला क्यों नहीं? बहुत भीड़ है उधर. उस भीड़ में जाऊंगा तो मुझे कुछ हो सकता है. एंड देन रिकवरी विल टेक अ लॉन्ग टाइम. परफेक्ट, वेरी सुलझे हुए आदमी, बिल्कुल. इट इज़ अ फियर फॉर हिम, एंड नो वन कैन रिमूव दैट फियर. पापा मास्क लगा के चलते नहीं. आई डोंट वांट टू गो. इधर से ही मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ ना, राधा रानी समझ जाएगी. परफेक्ट. दैट इज ऑल्सो ट्रू. दैट इज अ फियर. So I'm not criticizing him in any way, but I'm telling you, different people have different fear, and that's the best example I can give. सामने 100 meters cross करके जाना है. He will not. But he will go on all other days when there are 4 or 5 people around 10:30, 11 a.m. He will go sit there and chant his 16 rounds by looking at the Lord. So very nice. Fear. Pa for ba bha, and last is ma. Ma for money. Huh? Ma for ma for mrityu. Mrityu. So this is the activity. This is what happens. Ma for money, both will have barabar bola. Haribol. Ma for mrityu. Death comes eventually. Parishram karke, then eventually death. What happened with these 240 people plus the 40-50 extra. Yes. So this is the material world, and we are all engrossed in this. We are all engrossed. फंस गए इसके अंदर, चक्कर से बाहर ही नहीं निकल पा रहे. And many of us, in spite of knowing what is right, नहीं निकल पा रहे. वो भी problem है. There are people who don't know what is the right thing, but then there are people who know everything, but they are unable to make changes. इतना मतलब माया का, इतना सब्सक्रिप्शन माया का उन्होंने कर दिया है कि बाहर ही नहीं निकल पा रहे हैं. बहुत मुश्किल है. माया जाल बहुत मुश्किल है. Only with the help of a devotee can you do it. अकेले नहीं कर सकते. Only with devotees help, with devotees support, and when you come into association of devotees. अपने बच्चों को सुबह 6:30 बजे ऐसे उठा के देखो, नहीं होगा. बट 10 डिवोटी के बच्चे आ रहे हैं ना, आपका भी बच्चा उठेगा और बैठेगा उसके अंदर. एक आके अभी आपका बेटा आके बोल के गया कि प्रभु जी कल है कि नहीं क्लास में. बोला भाई मेरे को भी थोड़ा आराम दे. नहीं है कल. सैटरडे संडे आराम है.
जरूरी है.
हाँ
आपको जरूरी है.
हाँ जरूरी है. But actually there is no holiday in spirituality, but at the same time, yeah, there is no class on Saturday. That is good. But what I am saying is, when you get in the association of correct people, then the motivation is so high. All those kids, when I see, they are sleepy also, but somehow they are, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So like dil pigal jata hai, अरे बाप रे. So said wow. In morning when they that one line they will read, but they will put full effort, पूरा effort, क्योंकि every line in Srila Prabhupada's code will have some Sanskrit word, and that also they will read, and they will have siblings which will help them, which is very nice. And sometimes I see Pranav helping Nandana. Who is elder? Nandana is elder, na? But he is helping her. So I was like, I sometimes think, bada kaun hai? But yeah, I think Pranav is very intelligent for his age.
Mataji said before, Pranav has read so many scriptures.
Yeah, Pranav is already, he is well read.
So,
Well read. Yeah,
experienced.
which is great because when I see him, then there are some kids which we know they are the future leaders. They can come and sit here because we want to generation, and that is another reason. That's why we have made quick changes here. We are getting kids to do the kirtan. We are doing this morning thing, and we are giving people an opportunity to make new Vedic leaders for the upcoming society. Haribol. And like, if for those who are not participating, they should do it. करना पड़ेगा. फिर कोई बैठे बैठे घर में ऐसे 6:30 बजे आपको नहीं बुलाएगा, भाई दूसरा क्लास ऐसा है नहीं. हाँ, दूसरे क्लास में जाएंगे तो वो मना कर देंगे. जो हमारा क्लास है, हाँ भागवतम तो सुबह मंदिर में होता है ना, दैट यू कैन डू 7:45. ये तो हाँ ऐसे भागवतम की नहीं लगती, अभी ऐसे हमारी है. हाँ, ऑल राइट, लेट्स व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. वन हु हैज टेकन बर्थ is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in an unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Okay, again, birth, disease, old age, death, these things are, no one can stop. All right, no one can stop. So when these kinds of things happen in our life, then we should take it as a catalyst. Anybody has any questions so far? We are almost there, 9 p.m. So how do we decide when to be happy, when not to be happy? When now many people are sorrowful, right? So according to Shastra, happiness and distress is a state of mind. Happiness and distress is a state of mind. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई दो, it is not real. It is real, but still happiness and distress is a state of mind. I know of people who have lost all of their wealth and yet they were very calm. बहुत composed mind में थे कि प्रभु जी हो गया, हमने भी कभी किसी का ऐसे किया होगा, आज हमारा चले गया, that's it. बट भगवान के शरण में है तो भगवान फिर से देगा. हमारा तो था ही नहीं कुछ भी, भगवान का था, भगवान ने ले लिया. इतना बोलना बहुत बड़ा. इट इज़ अ स्टेट ऑफ माइंड. आफ्टर हैविंग लॉस्ट एवरीथिंग, व्हेन अ पर्सन इज वेरी काम and has complete faith in Lord. At the same time, we also have examples where a near and dear one dies and the person takes 2 to 3 months just to recover. Why? किसी और का कोई मरा नहीं, सबका मरता है. But it is a state of mind. By choice, you have made a decision to constantly think about what has happened and you don't want to get out of that situation. It's easy for me to tell, but it's very difficult when it goes through your life. And hence, the surrender, the degree of your surrender to the Lord, the degree of your surrender and reading of the Shastras, the degree to which you do your japa will together help you to come out of and to control and give a calculated response to that sorrowful situation. Being sorrowful or being morose is not a problem, but living with it for 3-4 months is a problem. Bad things can happen with all of us, and they also happen with devotees. But then devotees just don't hold on to it कि ऐसा ही मेरे साथ ही क्यों नहीं. You move on, you accept, हो गया, and then you move on, you take the next step. कल ज़्यादा जपा करना है, भगवान को और खुश करना है, right? That is how we. That is the step that we should take. So it is a frame of our mind. I'm just looking at the notes that I made because then I could not complete the slide. I was yes, there is a note here. There is always when we buy a product, there is manufacturing date on it, and then there is also a expiry date. Yes, so that's also with human life. Human life also there is an expiry date. What is that expiry date? Who decides that? God. But yeah, our past karmas decide that. We decide that, and then God just approves. He sanctions, okay, based on our past karma. So where is that thing? That's called Brahmalipi. Brahmalipi is, there is an invisible stamp here that so and so person will take 102,000 breaths. It is not the days, it is the breaths that we take. And after 102,000 breaths, this person will have to go. Fixed. There is a invisible scanner code. So when the Yam Rajas come, they will when the Yam Duts come around, they will scan. Iska time aa gaya hai. So yeah. Yes. Yeah, you cannot see scanner, and then you cannot also see the tag here that is there. There is an invisible tag for all of us. So manufacturing date and expiry date. We all have a expiry date. Point is from birth to cradle, from birth to death. What is it? B for birth and D for death. And B and D के बीच में तुमने कितना chanting किया है वो determine करेगा. B and C में. Very powerful thing. Between B and D there is C. And C is कितना तुमने नाम जप किया, भगवान को कितना याद किया, वो तुम्हारा आगे डिसाइड करेगा. वाह रे वाह. यस. आज तो 6 मार दिए इन्होंने. किधर गए इनके मिसेस किधर गई? ओ किधर की माता जी? निहारिका नहीं आई आज. मुझे लगा था आई थी. अच्छा, निहारिका माता जी नहीं आई. ठीक है. नक्श तो आया है ना? लक्ष्य है. अच्छा ठीक है. All right. And then yeah. So I'm doing this karma topic for the wallet class. and tomorrow I'm going to talk, but the topic is different. And so there are different types of karmic reaction, and one of them is like somebody gets an individual, and then sometimes people get a group karma. This what happened yesterday is a reaction of a group karma. It's like together. So many people were collected together at a point in time, and then they all had to go through that. And obviously the laws of the karmas are very, very perfect. It is said, like, if there are 1,000 calves, and if the mother cow is left in that gaushala where there are 1,000 calves, chote bachde, that mother will perfectly identify which is her calf out of the 1,000 calf, and only that calf can drink the milk of the mother. बराबर ट्राई करके देखना, कभी देखा भी होगा. Similarly, the laws of karma will exactly find that perfect person, and they will have to suffer. Others will not. In this way, that person who went survived. थोड़ा से इधर उधर से कौन गया, बस he survived. How on earth it is possible? How did he survive? 1.5 lakh कैसा? सब जल के सब ब्लैक हो गया. हाउ डिड द गीता सर्वाइव? थोड़ा सा ऊपर से काला हो गया, बस कैसे हो गया? दिस इज बियॉन्ड अवर थिंकिंग, एंड दैट इज वेयर वी नो दैट द लॉज ऑफ कर्मा आर कॉम्प्लेक्स, एंड दे आर अनफेलेबल, एंड हेंस वी मस्ट टेक करेक्टिव एक्शंस इन आवर लाइफ. वी मस्ट टेक एवरी ब्रेथ, इट इज सेड, एज इफ इट कैन बी अवर लास्ट ब्रेथ. उसमें भगवान का नाम जप करो, हमेशा भगवान के शरण में रहो, हमेशा लोगों का भला करते रहो. बिकॉज ऑन फेसबुक somebody sent me with what happened. Every time you step out of the, don't forget to say goodbye to your loved and dear ones. So people have different kinds of thinking level. So give a hug to your family, do this, do that. Very nice. Hey, but what is the goal of human life? वो तो बोला ही नहीं है. हग दे के जाके मरोगे तो फिर क्या होगा? Is your death going to be more favorable? So that is not the aim of life. And it is a pitiful thing that people by choice have not chosen to read the Shastras. They have not chosen to read the manual that came with it. ह्यूमन बॉडी मिला तो भगवद गीता नहीं पढ़नी, श्रीमद भागवतम नहीं पढ़ना है, कोई क्लास दे रहा है उसको नहीं सुनना है, ना जपा को आना है, ना कुछ करना है. एंड देन दे विल राइट दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स कि नेक्स्ट टाइम यू स्टेप आउट, लाइफ इज़ वेरी शॉर्ट, प्लीज़ गिव अ हग, प्लीज़ enjoy life as much as you can. I mean, I'm in my school group, so then there they are writing ki enjoy life to the fullest. And what is the definition of enjoyment? बस it starts there. पैक लेके बैठो. अच्छा पैक लिया तो ऐसा खाली खाली गला सूखा कैसे होगा? हाँ, गला गीला कैसे होगा? बाजू में फिर थोड़ा सा फ्राइड आइटम्स हैं, थोड़ा कुछ आइटम्स, 2 तंगड़ी 4 तंगड़ी हैं. हर्ष प्रभु हंस रहे. यस, व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एंजॉयमेंट? दैट इज डेफिनेशन ऑफ एंजॉयमेंट. सो खाओ पियो और अगला अपना जन्म में रास्ता रेडी करके बुकिंग करके रख दो हेल में. यस, करेक्ट. सो दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ अविद्या. द शास्त्र सेज अविद्या मीन्स ignorance. Solid. But I am not talking about any of you. You all are good people. You all are chanting in whatever ways you are, you can, and you have taken this process of Krishna conscious seriously, and hence on this Friday you are here. You could have also gone anywhere else. So many people are doing so many sevas at the back end here. All right, so that's about it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry for the two of you. It was a very heavy